A very warm welcome to the weekly Forex forecast for the 30th of September. I hope you're having a wonderful weekend, and let's get to it. DXY 141, flat as a pancake, nothing going on in terms of the DXY. So dollar is continuing to be weak, but being held up into this very tight range at the moment. So further downside momentum is likely, but we're not seeing it yet. But don't forget, we're moving into the non-farm payroll week this week. So you may find that the dollar is maybe not the favorite trade for this week. We'll have to wait and see. Weaker dollar is on the cards, but not quite yet. In terms of the yen futures dictates to us which direction the yen pair is going to go. And we see the price react on Friday morning, and it looks like the price is trying to react into this support level here on this automatic trend line, which is drawn on your advanced pro charts. There's an order block here and showing some support, so we do have a target here of 73.21 and then 78.76. Now if this does play out, this means that all the yens are going to fall, and we saw that start on Friday. So I'll be covering that in the next few minutes so you can actually see. And I'll give you my favourite yen trades coming up, and they look very big. In terms of the Swiss franc futures, pretty much the markets last week were very much sideways and very unreliable. However, I think that once price starts to sort itself out next week, then we should be back on track in terms of big moves. So the Swiss franc futures, you can see there's lots of support for this price into this order block, and further upside momentum is likely up to 122.72. What this means in terms of the Swiss franc pairs is they're likely to fall this week. So these are going to be some of my favorite trades coming up. I'm going to go through most of the charts today because we've not seen much going on, and it will help you make better decisions possibly. So a couple of things here to note on the S&P 500. It could be moving into an exhaustion phase, phase 5. However, we're not seeing any pullback to convince me that that is the case. I think the wave 4 extended is highly likely to continue. Now it does depend on, of course, what's going on in the Middle East. But I think as long as the buyers stay in, and the buyers are in, this is parabolic to the upside, this should be green. Then buyers are still in control. Any kind of pullback, then just simply buy the pullbacks, and the target for this week is 62.34. The FTSE 100 has been fairly mixed this week, and for quite a long time actually. If you have a look at this on the daily chart, it's very difficult to see. The wave 4 is continuing, so it's highly likely to move up from this order block, and it's doing that. But we have a target here of 8774, but this is definitely not one of my favorite trades for this week. Now the Hang Seng, congratulations members if you've been trading this on this big fat juicy buy signal. Once you get a buy signal above the yellow line, which is the 20 SMA, then that indicates further upside momentum is likely, and it did. Congratulations. Just check to make sure the buyers are in, and once the buyers are in and the volume, then you have a great combination for a great trade. It hit our target from last week's weekly Forex forecast to 20,820. If the wave 5 exhaustion doesn't play out and it continues up, the next target is 22,365. However, we'll have to wait and see if there's any change of character this week. If there's a change of character, then you could find the exhaustion phase kicks in and you have a pullback and then into an ABC pattern, and therefore your target would be down here somewhere, 16,214. But I'll keep VIP members up to date every day during the New York session and throughout the day. Now into the Aussie 200. I did mention this week it's not gone very far. You still have a target of 8370, so I do expect that to continue. It's in a wave 4, but at some stage the exhaustion phase will kick in once it gets up to there. German DAX, congratulations if you've been trading the German DAX this week. A big fat buy signal here above the yellow line. All the buyers stepped in and that's when you start making good money. So the indices this last week were very, very good. Despite the troubles in the Middle East, it's most unusual. But our target for this week is 20,012. The Nasdaq continuing upwards, a lovely big fat wave 4, a pullback into demand, and a lovely buy signal here above the yellow line. Just buy it, simple as that. Very easy to make money. 20,599 is your first target. But have a look at these targets, 22,926 and 26,320. So we could see some fantastic moves. But again, be aware that the troubles are looming in terms of the Middle East. Hopefully they will sort it out. In terms of the Dow Jones index, we can see this is in a wave 4. Look out for wave 4s, they are very powerful indeed. There's a few going on, and I'll cover those in the next few minutes. So your Forex trading, oil trading, gold trading, whatever you're doing, look out for wave 4s. So the Dow Jones heading for 44,730 and then on to 48,645, all being good across the world. Silver. We can see that this has been in the wave 4, fantastic move down here. Buy signal above the yellow, buy signal above the yellow, and the price hit target here of $32. And could be moving into a wave 5 exhaustion phase, couldn't it, on this demand area? So I think there will be a pullback, but only time will tell. I think we are due a pullback, so I think the target of this line here could be a good one, $29.72. Oil, this seems to have reached a support area down here of $68 and doesn't really want to go any lower. It is parabolic to the downside, but I'm just not convinced of this. I think this could bounce quite easily. But in order for a sell, we do need to see this line breached, this demand area breached, and then heading for 58.16. Only time will tell there. In terms of gold, this has been a very big move, and there's certain areas to look out for. If you're interested in VIP membership, then just click on the links below. Totally up to you. This is heading into a wave 5 exhaustion phase, but this could happen at any time. Our long-term target is $3,000. We do expect that to be hit in the next few months. A pullback down to 25.92, a pullback down to 25.29. You could choose any of these areas really, but only time will tell. One of the things you want to do is to just pop into the gold on steroids system that we have, and it will tell you when the price is going to go down or up automatically. We can use this system on anything, and it will tell you when to buy and when to sell it, and it all lines up very nicely. Let's go into euro dollar. Euro dollar, well, this is saying that it's entering an exhaustion phase into an ABC pattern, which is interesting. We did have a buy signal here, but it's pretty much sideways, isn't it? So I think we'll have to wait for the price to sort itself out and the DXY to sort itself out. Again, with non-farm payroll this week, we could find the dollar pretty much sideways. It's not certainly something I'm interested in at this stage. The pound US dollar has been rallying for the last few weeks, and buy signal here, buy signal here, buy signal here, buy signal here. So plenty of opportunities for you if you have the Advanced Pro charts. Just make sure that the volumes are hit or high, and that all the buys are in first before you go long. And then once you go long, just hold it. Holding positions is the only way to make a lot of money. I do expect the price to have a little correction here. I don't think the wave 5 is going to kick in. It may do, but I think down to 132.59 here is going to be a very interesting convergence area. I did write a blog on this on Friday, so hopefully you saw that. Heading for 137.11 if the wave 4 continues and the buyers stay in and the volumes remain high. We'll keep an eye on that one. Aussie USD is a no-brainer. We do have a demand area here, but I think this is going to be broken. I think the buyers are strong and the volumes are high, despite the DXY not really doing much, which is unusual. Normally when things go up like this, the DXY is collapsing, but it's not. I do have a target here. As long as it stays above this area, then we're going to have a target here of 72.50. Let's have a look at the US Swiss. Now there is a falling wedge here, if you can see that here. So much depends on the dollar. Now if the dollar goes strong, this could be an excellent trade to go long. It's certainly mixed at the moment and holding on to the support. So any kind of break above this area here, you're likely to see price go up if the dollar goes stronger. 90.31 is the target. US Canadian, congratulations if you had this trade, short this one, but there is demand areas down here at 133.91 as a target, and another one down here at 132.13. However, now there is a falling wedge here. You can see that here. Let me draw that here. If you do that and you do that, you can say that there is a falling wedge here. Now what tends to happen is if you get a breakout of that falling wedge, you could see a breakout to the top side if dollar goes long. And so just keep an eye on it. I'll keep you up to date with this one. Something like this. So you could turn out that if the dollar goes stronger, then you could have a position where the price moves up to 139.22. Again, alternatives are a good idea in these kind of markets because things could change pretty quickly. In terms of the US yen, well, very mixed indeed. We've got a fresh buy signal here above the yellow line, which is fantastic. We don't have all the buys in, so this is not parabolic. However, this could turn very quickly if the dollar goes strong and the yen goes weak. Then you could have a big move up to 161.56. Alternatively, you could have a target down here of 126. So again, it's not parabolic. Not all the buyers are in, not all the sellers are in. It's indecisive at the moment. Euro Aussie is looking really nice actually. I quite like this. Couple of things. We do have a parabolic trend to the downside with high volume, so this is interesting. However, we do have big divergence, and we also have this falling wedge here, if you can see that, and a demand area. The other thing to bear in mind is the ABC pattern, which could be completed. Now, it's probably going to fall down to here, 159.15, but any break of this falling wedge here is highly likely to pull the price up, and then we could have a trend up here to 170. 170 is a big number. However, only time will tell, of course, and with the markets the way they are, we just have to be a little bit patient with these markets. Pound Canadian to the upside. Wave 5 exhaustion phase, but I'm not totally convinced of this. I think that all the buyers have been in, and we had a buy signal here a few weeks ago. And it's hard to say, but I think if this price holds on to this support area, heading for 182.31, again, not my favourite trade. Aussie Canadian into a wave 5 exhaustion phase. But what you are looking for is the wave 4s. The wave 4s are where the big numbers are. So wave 5s are likely to continue, but there's no targets left for this. So again, not my favourite trade. Similar situation for the New Zealand Canadian. This has broken the supply zone, so this is highly likely to pull back in the next few days. Something like this, and then if you notice this here, we've got a wave 4, and the wave 4 could trigger quite quickly, and then we'll be going long. So the target for this week's going to be 87.44. Euro New Zealand looks really good actually, despite it being parabolic to the downside. I do expect the price to fall down to 174.55, and as I mentioned in the week, the risk to reward wasn't there for this trade. It was too tight. A nice move here a few weeks ago, but we're seeing a wave 4. The wave 4s are massive. They offer you great opportunities. So what we're looking for is the price to move above this yellow line here in the next few days with a big fat juicy buy signal. We've got the sell signal. What comes next is the buy, and then we'll be going along with the wave 4 with the institutions. Couple of targets here. You can see there's 192.22 and 202.50. So a nice move. So the target for this week, if it kicks in, 198.29. Pound New Zealand. I love this one. This is not parabolic at all. It's parabolic to the downside, but I'm not convinced of that at all. Look at this big fat demand area here and into a wave 4. So this, even though prices and charts have been mixed this week, they are setting up really nicely for the next week or two. So just be aware of that. Don't be surprised how quickly these markets move. So we have a target of 21.849, 22.33, and then 23.16. So and there's a big fat one up there as well, but I don't think that'll be hit this week unless something happens. So the weekly target for this week is 21.849. Aussie New Zealand. This is in a tight range, isn't it? Where you can see this triangle formation being formed from the trend lines. What this usually means is going to be a breakout to the upside or the downside. We don't mind at all. Congratulations on this move, 200 pips a few weeks ago, and we do expect a breakout, break down or a break up. We don't mind. There is a falling wedge, you can see that there, which has been broken now. This indicates further upside momentum is highly likely, but not confirmed yet. So again, we do have a buy signal. We do have a buy signal above the yellow line. So this is red hot. This could be as soon as Monday. Okay, so Aussie New Zealand is red hot. This is parabolic to the upside. We did have all the buys in, but what will happen probably on Monday is you're going to see buyers stepping in again with high green volume above the 50, and then the price goes up to 11134. Aussie Swiss looks good. And I say it looks good. As I mentioned earlier before, the Swiss franc looks like it wants to go stronger, which usually indicates that the price is going to fall on the pairs. But the Aussie is strong. So this may take over. So I am going to stick with this one. We've got a buy signal above the yellow line and all the buys are in. So this is parabolic. We have to trade what we see, not what we think. Because if you try and preempt the market, you get bitten. So just stick with it. If, for instance, the Swiss franc futures go strong, then this will just collapse down to here. But it's not happening yet. So we have to go with what we have today and into next week. 61.45 is the target. Stick with it. Now this is slightly different in that this is showing weakness because the Aussie is strong. Maybe that's why the emphasis on the Aussie Swiss to go long. But as long as the Swiss franc futures go strong, you should see this price move downwards. Similar to the pound Swiss, pound has been strong, so this may drive this up. But again, we have to wait and see. We've got a couple of if this remains strong, you're talking about 11675. Any kind of break of this trend line this week indicates further downside momentum if the Swiss franc goes up very strong. But again, not my favorite trade. I've highlighted a couple of things in the yens. Now this is interesting. As mentioned earlier, the yen futures look strong. It's bouncing off a support area and into a wave 4. So this will drive the yen pairs down. Now interestingly, the New Zealand yen is moved into a wave 5 exhaustion phase and has moved up into an ABC pattern perfectly. So we can easily work out our target 84.00 and this week, but I do need to see some kind of change of character. So let's go down to this chart and we can see it straight away. New Zealand yen is short and ready to go. So once we get into the chart on Monday, I'll be diving into these charts again, looking for some kind of pullback into these areas. Outside bars are really fantastic, and then we'll be going short the New Zealand yen. Similar situation for the Aussie yen, does exactly the same as the New Zealand yen, of course. ABC pattern into a demand area, fantastic move coming. 90.65 is the target. Pound yen, well, I'm hedging here, but into demand area, not into an ABC pattern or a wave 5 exhaustion, which is like the Aussie and New Zealand yen. This is still in a wave 4. So we could see the price break back up again, and we could see the price fall back into this demand area and then to 207.55. A lot of ifs. However, if we see stronger yen futures, then we could see this price down to 184.77 this week. Bitcoin's back on, by the way. I mentioned this earlier in the week to VIP members, and we had a big fat buy signal above the yellow line, and all the buyers are in with high volume. Fantastic move. Congratulations, members. If you're trading into a wave 4, which is even better. Perfect combination. Heading for 72,608, 79,056, and then on to 97,274. I don't trade Bitcoin. I hold wallets on Bitcoin, but if you want to trade it, please do. Well, that's it for this week. I've highlighted my favorite trades, and the indices look like they want to remain strong, so we go with that for now. Gold is definitely a buyer's market, so hold on to that. The pound USD stronger, Aussie USD stronger, Euro Aussie waiting, pound Canadian, Aussie Canadian, New Zealand Canadian, Euro New Zealand, pound New Zealand looking good for a lively bounce into a wave 4. So there's lots going on, guys, which are New Zealand yen to the downside, Aussie yen to the downside, pound yen we have to wait, Bitcoin to the upside. So despite non-farm payroll coming up this week, I think we're going to have some fantastic opportunities into these wave 4s and wave 5 exhaustion phases. So have a wonderful weekend, and I'll keep you up to date every day, of course, for VIP members. If you're a VIP member, if you're not, then just click on the link. Totally up to you. We're very relaxed here, and lovely to support you in your trading journey.